Yeah, last year was really heartbreaking. There's not very many people who've ever been Player of the Year back to back, and to come down to one shot and throw that shot on a demanding condition and leave an eight pin was that was brutal. And there's not a lot of ways to fix that one. Um, so I guess the most I've taken is that taking the ability to make that shot, which I'd done before to win the U.S. Open, and take that forward, and knowing that my performances on TV have gotten better and better. Um, there is a challenge though, and Detroit did not go extremely well for me, so I have a lot of challenges left in the second half of the year. It's not insurmountable. Nobody's ran away with anything, and so the second half will determine a lot of whether I have a chance to win Player of the Year or not. But it's still in my own hands. There's nobody that's going to run away, and uh, I think with some of the new things that we have coming out this next year, I can compete. I can make a big run in the second half and try and pull off a Player of the Year. Well, they have changed the five patterns. The biggest change is on the cheetah pattern. It's shorter and the gutter is back, and so it's much much higher scoring than it has been. And they've changed the other patterns as well. Basically, the other four patterns are all harder than they were last year. It's been a bigger challenge. I don't think the scores are going to be particularly high in those 4 weeks. You're going to have to play a little more direct on all of them to try and control the pocket. It's going to be more of a shot maker's deal, and it's going to be less about trying to create area in the lane. Well, I think the toughest competitor on tour right now, um, in a lot of ways, it's Wes Malott right now for the reasons of how he's able to match up with what's going on. He's got a unique skill set. He matches up very well with what's going on tour, and that obviously makes him a huge force with that rev rate and his great leverage. But you also have guys like Norm Duke who are always good anytime the lanes get difficult, and Walter Ray who never seems to go away no matter how old he is. The guys I like bowling the most are the guys who have historically been the best of the game. I like bowling Walter Ray. I like bowling Norm Duke, um, even Pete Weber. There are guys that are tougher for me to bowl against from a rev rate standpoint when you're bowling against a guy like it used to be Robert Smith. Now Tommy and uh, and Wes Malott can cause you more trouble from a strategic standpoint. But ultimately, it comes down to TV shows, and in that format, my biggest struggle is trying to figure out which one of those tools to use in that sprint format. Over time, I've learned that the best way for me to be successful on tour is to really get my ball to read a lot in the mid lane and be smooth and continuous. If I can get it to roll with continuation, then I have a chance to control the pocket. That lets me use my different tools. When my ball action gets far down the lane, what a lot of people like to see, I'm pretty uncomfortable with that. I have a hard time controlling that. I have a hard time getting it that far down the lane, and so it's not something I really prefer to see. I want to see the ball hook in the mid lane, and by the mid lane I mean probably 3 to 4 feet before the end of the pattern. A lot of these patterns, it makes it in the 33 to 36 foot range, and then continue through the pins. I think it's very satisfying, and maybe ultimately it's really peaceful to have a tournament go well, uh, go well on a TV show, to win, and feel like all the time that you've spent working on all these different things, that the pieces of the puzzle came together for a week, and that it makes all that time worthwhile. And it's just an overall feeling of peace and satisfaction from a job well done. Well, as the people that bowl with me in college and in amateur bowling, know I'm an ultra competitive person. I'm a perfectionist, and I don't deal very well with my own failures. Um, and so, while a lot of that's been a key to success, is taking that failure, working on those things that haven't gone well, and trying to improve on them. Ultimately, the addition of Linda and Ryan and Troy family has taken a lot of the edges off of that, and Whereas bowling used to be everything for me as far from a self-worth standpoint and how I felt. Now it's a big piece of it, and I still love to win, and I still hate to lose. But knowing that Linda and the boys are at home, and they're going to love me regardless of whether I shoot 150 or 250. That's taken a lot of that part out of it for me. Well, with Linda and I's background and how much bowling that we do, there's almost no way that our two boys are not going to be exposed to bowling on a pretty big scale. Early on, they've shown different levels of interest, but they're around the bowling center all the time. They're both pretty good at it at a young age, and I think we all gravitate to the things we're good at. So I see bowling as a big part of their future.
Thanks for getting to know Chris Barnes. Check back soon for more interviews with Columbia 300 staff members, including Tom Smallwood, Mike Scroggins, and many others.